right, everybody, welcome to Naptime Nuggets, as I like to call it, because hypothetically all of our kids are napping right now, right? Yep, I know. I saw him back there digging in the cabinet. Now, he's putting dishes away, I hope, right? That's funny. All right, so today I wanted to bring up some topics that are very common. I know that we have a lot of people who are new coaches who are going to be joining us by recording, apparently, that struggle with there's a handful of topics that most coaches struggle with, definitely as brand new coaches, but even being 5 years now into the business, almost 5 years, these are still things that I struggle with. And honestly, I don't talk about them a lot because I sometimes feel like I don't have it figured out and I don't know how to, or either I have my way of doing things and I don't know how to tell you how to do it. So, one thing I want you guys to do, though, I have some of your questions that are in here from the Rock that I'm going to talk about as well, and they were kind of incorporated into what I wanted to share anyway. But I would love for you guys either to jump in live or type in the chat if you have any questions that go along with it. So having a little bit of interaction. I mentioned in the Rock that normally when I prepare for a call, Jackie, I know you wing it all the time. I am so nervous to wing it especially if I have like something specific that I want to talk about.
I don't anymore, though.
You prepare now?
But and the days that I prepare, they're the worst.
Really?
Yes, because then I feel like I'm like so structured.
Trying to find your spot. Yeah. Well, this one I'm trying not to be so scripted, mainly because I want to get some feedback from you guys. So keep that in mind. You like jump in and be like, whoa, 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 right there. I have a question about this. So you guys jump in. Feel free to interrupt me. Okay, so one of the first topic I want to talk about with you guys is organization. And if I took my camera and scrolled it around my room, you guys would be like, this girl is not qualified to teach me about organization. Hi, Sonia. Um, but I've learned a lot, and I feel like this year I've really started to pull together some of the things that I've learned from Shalene Johnson. And she's been really the biggest one to help me organize my business. When I started this almost 5 years ago and I was getting leads and building my list, I have a box. In fact, it's somewhere on the shelf up here of 3x5 note cards, and every time I'd get a lead, I'd write their name on it, every bit of information I had about them, the day I messaged them, what they said, and then I'd put it in the back of the box. And oh my God, that system totally did not work for me, because there comes a point in your now early it's okay, you can probably manage it, but there comes a point in your business where it becomes too much, and loose note cards with 5 little kids around don't stay together very well. So I know you guys can probably relate to that. So I'm going to share with you, first of all, I want to know, is there anybody on here who feels like you're really obsessed with how you have your business organized? You feel like you just feel like you're amazing. Do you feel like you're organized? Jackie, you raised your hand. No, okay. No, I was going to say, who feels like they're very organized? Like, you know all your customers, you know the last time you talked to them, you're tracking them. Does anybody like you have that now? Mandy, I know you have that down, right? No, okay. So this is an area that we are all struggling with, and oh my gosh, I have found a tool, guys, that has completely changed, and I'm still very new to it, and I posted about it in the Rock, and if you guys didn't see it, I want you to check it out. Jackie, you know what I'm going to say? Team Z. Have you tried it?
I downloaded it one day, and then I was off to do some stuff, so I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I think that would be incredible.
It is awesome. So sit down for like 30 minutes and just watch the video. Go to the website, watch the video. You can do a 30-day free trial. You don't have to put in any credit card information. This is what I have been looking for my entire coaching career. I even thought about last year, like trying to find somebody who could create an app or something, because I've gone online, I've done Google searches trying to find, I'm like, there are car salesmen, there are business people all over the world who like why isn't there something out there where we can track people and get reminders in a organized system? And I could never find anything. And then somewhere a coach mentioned TeamZ, and it was developed by a coach. So it's structured for Beachbody coaches, and it is beautiful. And especially if you're new to this business and your customer list is very small, it's going to be so awesome for you guys to start out with this. So I want you guys to look at that. Just set aside 30 minutes, because I promise you it's not hard to set up. The amount of time you take just to kind of spend 30 minutes and learn it, it's not going to take more than that. It is simple, super simple. And get in there every day. It is going to be the best tool you possibly have to track. It's called TeamZ, TeamZy. Here, let me type, or somebody type it in there so that everybody knows what it is. Okay, so that's going to help you with your tracking. Now, you guys have heard of the 3 vital behaviors. We now have 4, so we're going to have to tack that on. And as a finish line leader, Tracy Morrow is one of the founding coaches, and she has been working with our team kind of close, and with John Maxwell, and we've come up with what's called a rule of 5. Now, before I go into this, I want to preface by saying we have developed different kinds of terminology and lingo as coaches. So whereas some people, we have the 3 vital behaviors, and then some people have created their own rules for their team. There are coaches higher up in the organization who have put together things for their team, because we become kind of a culture. And so as we develop our team and our culture, we have to kind of customize the way we say things and do things so that we're all on the same page. And that's where the rule of 5 came in. Now, I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do the rule of 5 and the 3 vital behaviors. They're all the same. It's terminology. It's something we've developed, and it's the 3 vital behaviors and a little bit more. And the rule of 5 is, if you haven't heard of them before, it's every day I grow, every day I connect, every day I follow up, every day I track, and every day I plan. Now, when we say every day I grow, we're talking about that includes your personal development, that includes your workout, that includes your Shakeology. You're doing things in your day that are going to develop you. When we talk about connect, that's including, from the 4 vital behaviors now, that's including recognition and including inviting. On that note, pause for just a second before I do the other 3. When something very key here about every day I connect, when I was watching the intro video, it's about 1.5 minutes for TeamZ, and he's talking about inviting and tracking. And pay attention here, because this is where most of you are having questions on inviting. He's talking about connecting to people, and that's why I love with this, the way that TeamZ tracks things, is that your goal is to connect with people. Basically, you plug in how long you've been a coach, what your rank is, how many personally sponsored coaches you have, and what your income goal is, and it generates what you've told it, and it tells you what you need to do to achieve that goal. And so it might be 5 new connections. It might be 5 follow-ups. It might be 5 or 10 connections. And all that means is that you're, like, literally, I just did it earlier this morning before I got on this call. It meant that I was going on to my Facebook or the list that's already created by TeamZ. It says, oh, today's the day you wanted us to remind you to reach out to Laura. So it has a place for coaches too. All of your coaches are uploaded into it. So if I'm trying to keep track, and I have not been good at this, but if I'm trying to keep track, I'll go through and it'll give me a list of the people I should reach out to that day. I can select that I want to skip them, or I can just it gives me a drop down. I want to reach out to them in 2 days. I want to reach out to them in 5 days. And then when that day hits, that list of people is right there, and you just click it. I mean, it is so beautiful. But my point is, when we're doing every day I connect or inviting, we aren't sending out those hard invites that makes us cringe, that nobody wants to do. I don't like to do it. You don't like to do it. And I'll tell you, if you haven't been listening to the National Wake Up Calls in the past few weeks, go back and listen to them. I'm catching up. I've missed a few. But I'm catching up, and I go on, there's a podcast. And so not only the past couple of calls I've listened to recent, but also Friday there was a call posted from Carl Deichler. He's our CEO, if you don't know. And it wasn't a national wake-up call. It was a call to celebrate success starters. But all of these calls have a theme of connecting with people and going back to the basics. And I can't remember who was on this one specific call, but she says she has never done a cold invite. Never. Everything she does is about checking on people, seeing how they're doing, commenting on their posts. If I go onto somebody's wall and I make a comment about how cute the little girl's dress is, that's a connect. I get to go check that off my list. You're engaging with people. And on Carl's call, he says, I wrote it down. Where did I write it? Okay, so what is inviting really? And he literally spent like 20 minutes of this call impressing the fact that, because we've gone from invite as a 3 vital behavior to invite, 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 and now he's actually trying to change the terminology to attract, connect, and invite. So this should relieve so much pressure off of you, because when we say that we want you to invite, that means that you're just going to be attractive to people. What are you going to do to be, how are you attracted to people? Well, that's where social media is such a beautiful tool for us, because we don't want you to, Beachbody doesn't want you to. They pay millions of dollars a year to advertise their product. They don't need you showing their sales products, whatever's on sale, or they don't need that. They need you being you and adding value to the lives of others. So this is where you get to be attractive to people and then connect to people. This is where you get to just see how people are doing. I heard your mom or your kids were sick last week. How's everybody feeling? And then along this point, I know some coaches question me. They're like, well, okay, then when do I close it? Like, how do I bring that message to a close and drive in with my invite to my challenge group? We don't want you to do that either. So sometimes you may reach out to connect with people, and it may go on like back and forth 5 times, and okay, well, it sounds like everybody's doing better now. It's good to connect with you. Have a good day. And then you go in, you make notes like what you talked about. You may set up to follow up a week from later, so that you can just go to their page and see how they're doing. So this is where it takes longer. No, maybe you hit Success Club, maybe they won't be your challenge pack purchaser that month, but you are doing something so much greater and so much deeper by building these relationships. And I know it's frustrating because you want to see something happen, but here's the problem. When I started coaching almost 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of, we have just exploded with home-based businesses, internet-type businesses. And a lot of them are doing it the wrong way. And I know you guys have received private messages from people that's totally scripted. Shay Stanford was talking about this on her recent National Wake Up Call. Don't be that person. If it feels icky to you and you're like, oh, I know they're selling me something. Like, what is it? Then don't be that person. That's not how you have to do it. And that's why people don't respond to you, or people back away, or they don't want to join you as a coach, because because that's what's showing up in their inbox, they think that's what they have to do. You don't have to do that to people, and you can let people know that they don't have to do that either. We're connecting. And then, of course, after you build that relationship, they're going to start watching you. If you're set up to follow up with them every week, and when I say follow up, I don't just mean a message, checking on their kids again. You don't, if it feels awkward, don't do it. But you can simply go on their wall and see what's going on, so that still counts. An invite is not just a hard invite. All right, so rule of 5, every day I grow, every day I connect, every day I follow up. Every day I track, and every day I plan. So these last 3, follow up, track, and plan, this is something that is not really it's part of your BAT, your business activity tracker, or BAT we call it, but um, it's not it's not necessarily, when we say our 3 vital behaviors, is not really what we think of. So, but it's absolutely crucial when trying to organize your business. Tracking and planning you have to do it. So this is something I started with Chalene Johnson's 30-day push. It's www.30daypush.com. Now, it's an awesome program. I believe it launched my business and really helped me have vision and perspective, but please don't drop what you're doing to go do this 30-day push. This is where I kind of wanted, where I was talking about chasing shiny objects. Just because someone tells you on a national wake-up call, this book is amazing, this training is amazing, this you know uh, program is amazing, don't stop what you're doing. Even with Team Z, I want you to put it on your list, put it on your to-do list of something that you need to get to, but don't stop everything you're doing, the basics, to try to add all this stuff in, because it's a little bit overwhelming, right? Like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start with building my business or how to invite, and you're asking me to start Team Z and go to 30daypush.com. I don't want you to do that. I just want you to take notes and make a plan to kind of check some of these things out. Okay, yes, it is designed specifically for Beachbody. I'm sure other customers could use it, or other businesses. Nicole was asking, other businesses could use Team Z, but it is very much structured. You can tell by how he words things that it's for Beachbody coaches. So it's really nice. Okay, so part of organizing your business is going to be with tracking and planning. Now, one thing that I learned from Chalene Johnson, and it's not just her, you'll hear it from a lot of personal development, but you want to brain dump everything you possibly do. And I know, as busy moms, I'm not even talking about business. I'm talking about family, kids, volunteering, church, everything you possibly do on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, on a month-to-month basis. Brain dump onto your calendar. Maybe you're using something from your phone, an app from your phone. Maybe you're using a planner. I did some research on, this is called Planner Pad. And the reason why I chose this one is because it was essentially doing what I had been attempting to do, but it was all in one book format. So I want you to brain dump, and then every week, you want to do this every month, every week, and every night. And it shouldn't take you long. Every month, you're just going to jot down on your calendar things that you know are going to happen throughout the month. Okay, so those are already calendared in. And then Sunday night, or if you want to do it Friday afternoon so that you're not working on Sunday night, really shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to go through and put down the things that you need to do that week. And then the same thing every night, 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to sit down or maybe 5 minutes. It really shouldn't take you long because you already have your master list. If you have that master list sitting in front of you, you can go down for Monday and pick the priorities. You know that you have soccer practice that day. You know that you have a meeting in the morning, and you only have an hour to work. So what can I do from this master list that's going to be a priority and help me move my business forward? And I recommend, for some of you who are looking at the big master list and it's like, oh my gosh, so overwhelming, keep it on a completely separate place. I actually keep it on my phone. That way I'm not looking at this big massive list that I feel like I can't conquer. So does anybody want to jump in here? Do you guys have do you have an organization system, or all of you pretty scattered? Have any of you tried to take 15 minutes and plan your day? I know some of you have probably started, but you don't stick to it, right? Because it's a good idea and fun for about a week, and then you don't do it. So do it, because it's going to change the way you organize your day. Find someone to hold you accountable and keep you to it. Dorothy, were you going to jump in and say something?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Lost.
You're lost. Uh oh.
No, no, not lost, but I've tried that, and it always gets shuffled.
What? Oh, like you lose where your list is, or
No, I lose at the calendar. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna schedule it for now, but then, it's like, well, okay, no, I'm gonna do that later. Something else comes up and pushes that out of the way.
I got you. I got you.
That's what I mean. It's hard. It's not hard.
So that happens to me too. And what happens is it'll keep going pushed up on the list. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like this is an entire week here. And up at the top here is the list of things to be done that week, not necessarily scheduled in. I schedule it in down here. But sometimes like there's something that every week it's getting pushed over to the next week. And that's when I'm like, either one, I need to outsource it, or two, just take it off the list because it doesn't need to be done if I haven't done it. So don't keep carrying that stuff with you either. If it's a priority, just get it done. If it's one of those things that's kind of like eat that frog, like I'm avoiding it like the plague, you probably just need to suck it up and do it. But it takes practice. All right, the second thing I wanted to talk about with you guys, and we kind of talked about this with inviting, don't be scripted. We talked about that. And then Shay Stanford, if you guys will listen to her most recent call, she talks about, she gives 4 tips on how to start engaging with people. Again, we're going back to connecting with people and not the hard invite. More than anything, I want you guys to be willing to fail. It sucks, man. Especially if you're a new coach and you're not used to people telling you no, or I had a coach message me yesterday saying that she had been kicked out of a fitness group. I don't see her on here. But a big group of fitness people, and she had been kicked out because somebody asked a question about 21-day fix, and she said, hey, message me if you have any questions. I think it was kind of unfair of them to kick her out, but you have to see it from the perspective of the person running the group. I guarantee you there's people in there selling wraps. I guarantee you there's pushy coaches in there who are not presenting themselves well. I guarantee you there are people in there selling Herbalife and every possible thing you can imagine, especially if it's a big group. And so it gets exhausting to try to weed out the people who are taking advantage of the group. So from the perspective of the person running the group, I do understand. But here's what I want you to do with groups, because there is a way, if you feel genuinely connected to the group and like you can add value to that group, and then it is a great way to make connections. That is your only goal. Interact with people. If they're talking about 21-day fix, say, oh, I'm doing 21-day fix too, blah, 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 back and forth with them. And then there will come a time maybe that you can actually become a friend with them and work with them on a personal level that way. So we're never going in there, especially someone else's group, to talk about Beachbody or a product. If I'm in a group like that, I don't even bring it up. It never comes up that I do anything Beachbody related. But what's going to happen if I'm interacting with them or in the group a lot, they're going to be like, who is this Rebecca girl anyway? They're going to go scroll over to my picture and they're going to start scrolling through my wall and decide whether they like me or not. And so that's your goal there. All right, so real quick, I'm going to run into the questions here. Heather says, I'm looking for the basics, who to reach out to after I email people I personally know, and definitely organization. Okay, so we kind of talked about that. Heather, I want you to remember this is about connecting to people. Again, it's going to be a very slow process, but your goal, especially as a brand new coach, is just to kind of get the word out and share with people, and they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna come to you and ask questions. As far as getting started, again, I want to come back to terminology here, because we have Coach Basics that corporate really pushes, but before we had Coach Basics, we had nothing. We had, well, I won't say nothing, but we had some founding coaches that did a 5-part slideshow. It was very boring, and so there wasn't a lot of information, and now we have so much information that it's overwhelming. So what I want you to understand is every team kind of has different terminology. Corporate has Coach Basics. I've used Coach Basics before. Now I use the Finish Line Leader app. It is Coach Basics. The Finish Line Leader app is Coach Basics. Some people call it Coaching 101. Some people call it Coaching Boot Camp. Jackie, do you have one? What do you call it?
Well, I actually started this self-paced 15-day training in my team page, like Megan Olson did.
See?
You just like save the pictures and they click on it. So it's always there, because with the Coach Basics, people weren't plugging it in, and
right.
I thought it was wasting my time.
Right. Good idea with the pictures. Good idea with the pictures.
Click on the picture, and then it tells you the assignment for the day, and then at the end of the picture, it has the link to a call, a video, whatever it is.
That's perfect. So you're gonna, again, going back to the culture, as coaches, we have to feel out our team and see where they're at and what they're doing, and try to provide that to the best that we can. But I've tried a lot of different trainings. I've done groups. I offer my team calls, and I offer one-on-one calls, which, by the way, everyone is welcome. Anytime you see that little link come up to sign up, I don't care who you are, where you are in the organization. I don't even care if you're my coach. If you want to talk about coaching and how I can help you, I'm here. If you're not, it is an opportunity for me to answer your questions one-on-one. But just know that the Finish Line Leader app, it's a brand new app that I'm personally using and I'm plugging my coaches into. And it is Coach Basics. We've just called it something different. And I believe it's more personalized to our team and kind of the vision of our team. But it is from the very beginning of, how to set up your online office. And to be truthful, like, a lot of it's pulled from Coach Basics in your online office. We use a lot of corporate videos. So if you're looking at that and you're overwhelmed, number one, I promise you, you are not alone with feeling overwhelmed. And I want you to also understand that we have the 3 vital behaviors, or the 4 vital behaviors, if you want to call it that, or the rule of 5, if you want to call it that. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, and do not get caught up chasing shiny objects. If you hear that, Jackie's team is posting these pictures with how to do things, I promise you, it's not any different information. There is no secret sauce. It is getting in there and getting in the trenches, being willing to fail your way forward, inviting, connecting with people, doing your workout and showing that you're doing it, and being present on social media. So don't look at what other teams are doing. The National Wake Up Call is a good example. When I'm listening to the National Wake Up Call, I am taking notes on what they're doing. Sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't, but who am I to argue? Because a lot of them are sometimes, top 20 coaches. So, but it's not your style. You cannot take on something that's not your style. So just don't get discouraged when you see that somebody else is doing something. Trust the process, trust the basics, and stick to those 2 a year. I promise you, if you stick to those 2 a year, you are going to be very successful in this business, and you're going to grow, and you're going to be better in a year than you were today. That's a guarantee. Real quick, I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions here. I could always use tips on inviting to my team. Poor Emily, been a coach for over a year now, and we still need those tips. I need those tips. Somebody tell me. I still send out some bad invites from time to time. Okay, from Kayla, she says, how do we encourage challengers to continue for more than just one round? It's like encouraging coaches to build a business. It's, you be the example. I think a good tip for this, and if anybody, some of my seasoned coaches want to jump in and offer anything, I think a good tip for this is actually giving them tasks to do. Hey, you know what? You've been in this group with me. You had some success. You were really engaged. Hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, I don't know if you want them to keep going or not. Then, I really would love to have you come in here and maybe share some more tips with, or just comment on people's posts and encourage them, because people need more of that. If there's somebody who's not very involved in the group or they fail, just be like, hey, you know, I know that you didn't do so well on your last round. Can I get you back in here and do another round with me, and let's really nail it this time? So, and just sometimes they're not going to do it. They're not going to be engaged, and that's okay. There was another one. I remember reading someone. Okay, group junkies. That's a good one. Alexis asked that. So what do you do with challengers that don't want to become coaches but are challenge group junkies? I still have those people. Some of them are coaches, but they're challenge group junkies, and they're coaches, but they're really just customers for the discount. And my job as a Team Beachbody coach is to help you wherever you need help. So if that means you want to do groups with me, like literally I've been bringing people along with me for over 2 years now. They are like, I want to be in your next group. And I'm like, okay, but you got to post. So I look at it as an opportunity, really. I mean, if they aren't really coaching and they don't want to be a coach and they have no desire for the discount, then go ahead and let them in your group and give them a job. Make them work. You know, have them post, you know, recipes or whatever they're good at. Find out what their gifts are and help them to develop those gifts and work in their gift zone. And maybe before you know it, they might actually be coaches because they see, you know, the value they can add. But getting them in there to like posts and comment on people and encourage them and add value, that's gonna help them. That's gonna help the people in the group. And if you can make them participate, then it's gonna be beneficial to you. That's how I see it. I kind of like bringing some of the oldies along because they connect with the people better. Does anybody else want to jump in and ask anything or share anything? Let's see. Oh, Sonia. Sonia says, I'm connecting, but seems like all my connections have all the excuses in the book, especially when it comes to cost. How do I bring it home? And then Jackie responded, it's all about continuing to show them the value. They are unsure. Stay consistent. Sonia, how long have you been a coach? 3 months?
Yes.
Okay. So people are still in a stage of watching you. And I see way too often that coaches are coaches for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and they're not seeing the response that they want. People weren't coming to me when I was 3 months in. It wasn't until they were like, dude, Rebecca's been doing this for 2 years now. There must be something to it, you know? It takes time. So you just let them keep watching you. My attitude is always like, I'll show you. I'm about to do this. You know, I'm going to be here in a year and I'm going to be in the shape and I'm going to lose this baby weight. And I'm always trying to prove something to people, even if, you know, they're not really, they are looking for proof. They want to see that you're committed. And way too often I see coaches get excited for this 2-3 months and they're like, you know, nobody's responding to me. Nobody's paying attention. They're giving me all these excuses. But I promise you, like, you let them have their excuses, be like, okay, that's all right. I'm still going to lose 5 pounds in the next 2 months. So, you know, it sucks. I know. And they're always going to have excuses, but that it will slow down. You will not get as many excuses as you grow. I promise you that. But you still will get a lot. I get a lot still. It's just not their time. All right, ladies, anything else before we wrap up? Hopefully that helped. You know, there's no magic. You have to find your style of organization, what's going to work for you. It took me over 4 years to figure it out, and maybe it'll change, you know, but figure out what works for you. But don't just give up because life is scattered. Keep pushing through. Same thing with inviting, and be willing to fail. There is no one who has become great or successful who has not suffered unbelievable failure. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me. What organizer is that you were using? I like the way it looks. It's called Planner Pad. Planner Pad. I did look around. There are some other coaches